like if you're a fan of Starduck, he does still have a chance there in the lower bracket where all the best of ones are, where honestly he really thrives. I see Pez there, a little bit sad for his boy, for his Aussie Protoss brethren. Oh boy. But speaking of, being sad for your your brethren here, I mean, we have a bit of a Hong Kong derby.
Yeah, the brothers match, if you will. And we've seen this a couple of times, Light, and they have always been honestly pretty close. Closer than I think you might expect looking at the matchup on paper, but let's get right on into it here on Light Shade in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. A pink Protoss player coming down from the land of Hong Kong, the Kong of Hong Kong if you win. Just a straight-up baller. He is. Like, I imagine him walking down the street. He has his gold, he has his coat on, he's just doing a full-on strutting. He's just strutting his stuff. As a cane and what have you. He is representing himself. He's currently teamless. He is Bistork.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the red Zerg player, the king of Hong Kong. He is the undisputed best player in the land, in the region. It is GogojOey.
And I tell you what, like, Joeys, they're mammals.
Go on.
They, well, they have fur. Yeah. All mammals have fur, right? Well, they're mole rats. But then again, mole rats have whiskers. But then again, catfish also have whiskers. Fish also have whiskers, is what I mean.
What are you on right now? What are you
How chunky is a Joey?
How chunky is a Joey? How chunky can a Joey get? These are the questions that we need answered.
You can probably find them. See, this is why we need old mate Steve.
Oh boy, exactly. He would have been here. He would have been able to answer that, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. As you were saying, we have casted this a decent amount of times. We have seen GogojOey and Bistork duke it out. More often than not, GogojOey does come out on top, but every now and then, Bistork comes out with something crazy and even catches GogojOey off guard.
Yeah, it's to the point where I feel like both players are so familiar with how one another plays that Bistork is fully utilizing the, I wouldn't necessarily call it mind games, but he just, he knows what GogojOey's blind spots are. And he'll just use a build that can really take advantage of that.
Yeah, that he can. So we can get into like some weird meta games here between these two players just because they play against each other so often. But we'll see how things go here. Right now, Bistork being a little bit annoying is able to pick off a drone. Nicely done. And as we see, he is going for that Stargate and those Void Rays.
Okay. I'm absorbing a little bit of Starduck's knowledge after taking him out.
Yeah.
To be fair, Bistork, well, I say Bistork likes the Stargate, but he's really 50-50. One of the few Protoss players, because I feel like, when you're looking at the current meta, right, for PvZ, it's some kind of a Stargate game 70% of the time, and then Twilight Council opening about 30% of the time. For Bistork, though, it's a lot more 50-50.
Yeah. We have seen the Stargate be a little bit more prominent recently, and that's where the discussion comes out that we were talking about, how Bistork has been playing a lot more standard in recent months. Which is a good thing, probably. Maybe not for as a viewer, because we want entertainment and we want some nonsense, but he has been a little bit more standard recently. And we could be seeing that. He is going for that Twilight Council. We could be seeing Glaives, or he could just, go into DTs.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd see charge come up from him, Bistork. His charge build is definitely something else. Somehow always hits the timing just before Zerg players are ready to deal with it, but he is going for Glaives instead, which I guess is a bit more reliable. It's a lot less all-in.
Definitely, definitely. And of course, this is something that has become pretty popular recently, where you go for glaives after your Stargate. Sure, it does mean that you don't have a robo to get a warp prism and warp in across the map, so it's a lot less dedicated, but you can still warp in a decent amount of adepts here on your side of the map and just go across with a mass amount of adepts and deal a lot of damage. But again, this is relatively common, and hopefully GogojOey will be able to scout this.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty important. I mean, as we saw earlier today, these attempts can get quite a lot of kills, drone kills, in a map like Lightshade. GogojOey is sort of inadvertently going for that Roach Warren though, so either he knows something that we don't, you know, playing against Bistork for this long, or he just wanted to go for a Roach push, and it's gonna work out for him defensively too.
Oh yeah, I mean, he had plenty of queens to defend against the Void Rays. He has roaches that are popping out. There are a mass amount of adepts here, but as you were saying, like, there's plenty here to defend. The transfuses are on point, and the adepts are being forced back.
Yeah, honestly, pretty good kiting coming out from Bistork over here. The roaches really struggling to get in range over here, but the reinforcements will be able to continue to pressure the adepts of Bistork over here. No drone kills just yet. 3 drone kills, 4, 5, all right. 6, decent.
Yeah.
Get any more?
He could even get the queen. Up.
He does get the queen. All right, fairly, yeah, pretty worthwhile so far coming out from Bistork, but is it gonna matter? In the end, the queens are already across the map.
This is what I love. We're just full base trade in a way. Like, GogojOey, he just gave up his main base. He's like, you know what? You can have it. I don't care, because I'm gonna end the game across the map. I know that you aren't gonna have enough to defend, and we'll see. We'll see if those words ring true. Because Bistork, he's trying to get some defenses up. He's throwing down some shield batteries, but only now. Like, this feels a little bit late.
Yeah, honestly though, GogojOey is attacking that 3rd base, so it's buying Bistork a little bit of time. If you just continue to weather storm for a little while longer, then maybe Bistork will have enough, but the wall was on a wall for a sec. The corrosive vials don't quite land on the force field yet.
No, they do not. Instead, they are going for the Cybernetics core, and when the core does fall, that means no more Stalkers or Adepts to defend for Bistork. The Biles are trying to land, and for the most part, Bistork is dodging them. The shield batteries, they finished. Overcharge is available.
But he is going to be willing to use it as an absolute last resort. That is a silver bullet in this defense. If that Disruptor can come out and start getting some connections, then I think Bistork has enough to hold and go for a counterattack. And honestly, the Zerg Swarm is getting thinned out. Good connection on that Purification over, but there's still plenty of Lings here to worry about. And enough Queens, I should say.
Exactly. Part of me wishes maybe pull up a couple of boys, right, to just try and buffer and hold on for another Purification Nova, but as it stands, it looks like there is not enough on the ground, and GogojOey just barely has enough here to break his opponent as the Void Ray does fall, and the Immortal is going to go down as well.
I don't know how much we can emphasize barely here. Like, Bistork, you know, as I said, if he maybe pulled the boys, he would have had a bit more of a comfortable defense here, a bit more secure of a defense, and continue to, you know, just keep the game going. But yeah, unfortunately, he was overestimating his defenses a little bit here. GG's called, and GogojOey barely takes game number 1.
GG. I like how at the end of that game, Bistork was only down 10 workers.
That's why if he held there, I feel like he would. I feel like GogojOey might have just straight up GG'd if he did.
That's the thing, right?
Even
like,
if he had to pull the boys.
I don't think Bistork realized how many workers he killed across the map and how, like, few drones GogojOey had. If Bistork had realized that, then I think he would have been a little bit more liberal when it comes to, like, using his workers to attack, and to, like, try and buffer a little bit to gain some ground. But because he didn't know that, then GG. Joey takes game 1.
GG, and I'm already loving it. Like, we have said that while GogojOey does tend to come out on top, these games are close, they are messy, and no holds are barred from either player. If the next game, and hopefully the game after that as well, hopefully we get an ace match go like this, then man, I'm gonna wear out my throat. It's a good thing that I got honey water instead of coffee today.
There you go. Do not forget to hydrate your hydras, everyone. Keep yourself with plenty of water, especially when you're casting.
Get plenty of water, get snacks if you need them, because Diamond League Disaster is telling us in chat. Anzac Day, Samara.
Thanks for telling
like
us
the
that.
cookies.
I actually had no idea, and I live in Australia.
I didn't either, but I do like the biscuit.
Have you had the biscuit before?
I'm thinking of the same thing, right? It's the oat kind of biscuit.
I've never had an Anzac cookie. I don't know. An Anzac biscuit. I've had a Lamington, which isn't really close to an Anzac.
Lamington?
You don't know what?
Wait, is it Lamington? Yeah, it is lambing, not lemming.
Yeah, what? No, a lemming is a video game thing.
Australian cake yeah. Aw, Lemmings was great. Lemmings 2000. That was fun.
Lamingtons are as Aussie as you can get, mate. That's...
So it's a sponge or butter cake coated in chocolate and then rolled in desiccated coconut.
Yeah, and coconut.
What if I had all of these separately but not together? I've had sponge cake. I've had desiccated coconut. I've had chocolate sauce. It's not together.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Anzac biscuit is a sweet biscuit popular in Australia and New Zealand, made using rolled oats, flour, sugar, butter, golden syrup, baking soda, boiling water, and desiccated coconut.
What is it with you and desiccated coconut, mate?
It's what the wiki's telling me.
Oh god, just letting the players know we are ready. GogojOey unfortunately had a bit of a lobby bug, so you had to restart a little bit there, but we are back.
It's always unfortunate when that happens. Hopefully we don't get a console bug either this time. Tim Tam is a brand of chocolate biscuit made by the Australian biscuit company Arnott's. It consists of 2 malted biscuits separated by a light chocolate cream filling and coated in a thin layer of textured chocolate. Some of them may include desiccated coconut.
Kura can give us an update, but I think Kura had her last Tim Tam like a couple of weeks ago.
No.
Fun fact: when Kura went back to Poland from Australia, she took like a literal bag full of full of Tim Tams with her.
Full of Tim Tams of like 50 packs of Milo.
She still has Milo.
Okay.
But she ran out of Tim Tams.
That's good. Oh, but you can't drink one and eat that. No. Moment of silence as we get into game number 2 of our best of 3 upper bracket semis. Winner of this is going to go up to face Mio Micah in the upper bracket finals. Here in the bottom right hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right hand corner, our pink Protoss player coming down for the land of Hong Kong, the Kong to end all Kongs. No, that's actually not. That's actually somebody else. He is going to be representing himself as he's currently teamless. We have Bistork.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Red Zerg player hailing from the land of Hong Kong, already up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is GogojOey.
Interesting map pick coming down from Bistork here. I imagine he wants to go into Stargate, seeing this, this is Romanticide. He's going to be able to secure his economy fairly early on. Well, I say that, but this is GogojOey we're talking about. He's a master of hitting before the Protoss player can really macro comfortably.
Yeah, that's what I would say as well, right? Like, because we are on Romanticide, we have to make that assumption, right? That Bistork does want to get into a late game, maybe even open up with double Stargate for those Void Rays. But yeah, because it is Bistork we're talking about, like, there's no sure thing that is coming here for GogojOey. And as you were saying, if that is something that Bistork is going to go for, GogojOey is definitely a player that can hit a timing and try and end the game before, carriers or any kind of fleet beacon tech comes into play.
Now the question is, how? Because GogojOey's done a couple of variants when it comes to taking out this Protoss player early on. I think most commonly he does the waddle across the map with queens and roaches, but he has used Niduses before. He has used... And that's actually all I can think of. He has used Drop Lords sparingly. I feel like drop alerts have kind of fallen a little bit out of fashion lately.
It's a stylistic thing.
Prominent. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if you think you can avoid the void race, then go for it. But yeah, I guess there are a lot of players who just aren't comfortable having that much supply up in the air, literally up in the air.
Yeah. Jim Rising did do it earlier today, but only once today. And yeah, it is something you can go for, but as you said, it is very risky. You know, as you said, if it does get scattered in the center of the map, then your overlords are very vulnerable and they can be focused down. But you know, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We'll see what Bistork has planned here. He does, for now, only have one Stargate.
Yeah, just because we say that's how they should do doesn't mean that we're right.
Boy.
The GogojOey probably knows how he wants to play this out. Bistork as well. And we'll just see how they go for. We do have an update, by the way. Kuro finished the last Tim Tam about 4 months ago.
Yeah, F's in the chat.
She rang in the decade of that Tim Tam.
Exactly.
Or I guess not decade, because technically you start counting by 2020, but you know.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Feels bad. She'll have to get a refill next time. Next time she comes down under to Ausland, to Australia. But yeah, also
years from now.
Also what Diamond League Disaster was saying, I was thinking that as well. It would be really cool to, like, I don't know, maybe run a tournament series where you bring in all the Kongs. Problem is that, like, there have been errors of Kongs, and for the most part they're all like they're not active anymore. Like, F's in the chat for Sue, right?
Yeah. Does he finish military this year, or is that next year?
I think it's next year. I don't know if he comes out with Classic.
Yeah, it's probably first half of next year, I want to assume. Already Bistork is getting a lot of damage out with his target. Almost gets another queen, but backs away before losing too many of his units over here. And that Oracle actually getting a decent number of workers too.
Yeah.
For them, yeah, pretty good. Not losing a single unit so far.
Definitely. I mean, that's not too bad. Like, I mean, sure, like, there are a couple of Oracles that could get some more damage, but 4 is not bad, especially because he did get away with full HP. And what's important is we were speculating about it, and Bistork does not disappoint. He did go double Stargate.
Yeah, you love to see it on a map like Romanticite. Well, some people love to see it.
Zergs don't love to see it.
Yeah.
Oh god, but we'll see, because right now GogojOey, he has not stopped queen production. He has +1 range on the way, which will help out both the roaches and the queens. GogojOey, he also scattered everything. His overlord somehow snuck past everything. It was a slow overlord as well, didn't even have speed, and he gets into the main.
Just like coat itself in mud. And we did Void Race couldn't smell it. But
you went for a reference, and then you like took a hard right at the end there. It was... God damn it. Have you seen Predator? Have you even?
Yeah, it's on the list, but still won't let me watch it.
God,
yeah,
why
we actually talk about it?
Why haven't you watched that for Movie Club? That's like going to be at the top of the list. The hell?
Well, because we did not RoboCop, because we did Terminator, and he's like, all right, we'll wait before we do another Arnold movie.
God damn it! Shaking my head. Oh,
that's gonna be your top suggestion.
Yeah, 100%. As we do see, the fleet of Void Rays are going across the map, looking to deny this 4th base. The queens are in position. We'll see if they're going to be able to stop this from happening. Looks like...
barely should be able to get it. Gets a cancel. GogojOey to be able to not waste his minerals there. But yeah, a little bit of a delay. It's always going to be annoying for the Zerg player, especially a Zerg player who just wants to get to the mid-game as quickly as he can.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, oh god, a stray Void Ray was taken out, but Bistork has plenty here once again to focus on that 4th, and once again, this should be cancelled. Yeah,
way too many Void Rays this time, even without prismatic alignment. GogojOey knows he can't take that risk.
Definitely, and the Void Rays do come in. Thankfully, there are 2 spores here at the natural base, so these Void Rays are pushed away, but at the same time, we do have a couple of Adepts trying to sneak into the 3rd.
And they do get in. They are glaveless, so they'll be hitting a little bit slower, but even still, a couple of drones might be able to get to the main and potentially see the Spire. No, goes with natural instead.
Oh yeah, that he does, but he's actually getting a decent amount of worker kills, and he is keeping all these roaches busy. Meanwhile, as you were saying, the Spire is done, and I was thinking, hey, maybe he'll go for Corruptors. No, not at all. We have Mutas on the way.
Might as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
The mutas do have low health, so Void Rays are decent against them, but if you get enough mutas, then it's just going to be way too much for the Void Rays to deal with.
Well, ideally, you get the mutas and then you just go across the map and get into a mineral line and just eviscerate everything, right? If
a lot
Bistork,
faster too.
Yeah, if Bistork scouted this, he would be switching into Phoenixes, but unfortunately, he hasn't seen this at all. But he is going to run into the mutas. Oh god!
Oh, unfortunate A move over there. So 2 of the mutas will already be taken out, and GogojOey doesn't have too many of them to begin with. I mean, they can still cause a lot of chaos over at mineral lines, but it's not going to be the insta-kill monster that you typically want mutas to be.
Yeah, they will be able to one-shot these probes. Yeah, so they will be able to one-shot. The Phoenixes are on the way, and with this, the mutas, oh god, they will eventually be cleaned up. I'm a little bit concerned because we do have a couple of more mutas on the way, but finally, we do see the switch into Corruptors. These mutas only getting 4 probes. They haven't paid for themselves yet.
Yeah, they're still looking to work off that depth. But not right now. GogojOey needs to find an opening to utilize this mutas at. And the important thing with keeping the mutas alive, you can just find the Protoss player where maybe they're getting another expansion up and they're not as secure.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this. He's going from mutas into corruptors. Normally, when you see players go for mutas first, they switch into hydras. They kind of hard switch, and then the Phoenixes aren't anywhere near as useful. And like, I'm also worried about the commitment to these mutas. There are just so many of them, and they haven't really gotten much so far anyway.
Yeah, he's definitely trying, but not quite finding it. Might pounce on top of that mineral line. Does not want to tangle with that many Void Rays, so let's try to pounce back on top of these Phoenixes, but Aeon Pulse finished up just before that fight.
That it did. One thing to take note of, though, is as all this has been happening, as the players have been kind of juking it out on mainly Bistork's side of the map, GogojOey has been expanding. He is taking a 5th base behind this, and so far it has gone undisturbed, which is pretty big. But this Skytoss army is still a little bit terrifying. GogojOey, he's committed to this.
And he will be able to chase this away for now, but not much else. Oh, Bistork actually looking to fight over here, but not targeting down the Corruptors fast enough. These Void Rays will be completely taken out. Flux Veins is going to be pretty useless now.
Honestly, I'm surprised Bistork stayed. GogojOey came in with mutas, corruptors, and queens with transfusers, and Bistork's like, yo, I got this, and he lost every single Void Ray. And now GogojOey has a bunch of momentum going his way. His corruptors, mate, they can just focus down one of these buildings. Do it.
Go, Caustic Spray, there we go. And we did say that Romanticide is the map you want to get to a comfortable economy on as a Protoss player, but what do we always say? Like, GogojOey knows exactly how to disrupt that. Typically, he will go for a big push and end the game before that, but as we see, even if a game goes on a little bit longer, he still knows how to keep the Protoss player behind.
Yeah, what's very important to note, for a bunch of people, even though there is a fleet beacon, because of the mutas, like, it forced Bistork to switch into Phoenix production, and he was never able to get out any carriers, like, at all. He's actually not stopping Phoenix production, which I don't think is the right call right now. Phoenixes, they just don't do well against corruptors at all.
Yeah, I feel like Bistork maybe misinterpreted what's going on. I mean, to be fair, GogojOey is making a couple of mutas here, but there's no way that's going to be the main army of GogojOey. That's mostly just going to be a defense force. Bistork, he's actually looking to get charged right now, looking to go into some kind of Phoenix gateway switch.
He's throwing down 2 more Stargates as well. Okay, I'm hoping he switches into like something else soon, but the problem is, like, because there are so many corruptors, like, you can't switch into carriers, right? You're just gonna lose them instantly. So he's kind of stuck with these Phoenixes. Maybe with good enough micro, he can go toe-to-toe with the corruptors, but it's just, I don't know how I feel about it, mate. It's gonna be really difficult to pull it off.
Yeah, even with all the best micro in the world, then you're gonna be throwing away at least one of your Stargate units. GogojOey has finally found the momentum, and he's running all the way home with it.
Yeah, exactly. I even saw in chat earlier, someone was like, you know what, we don't see like mass Phoenix anymore. Why not? This is kind of why. Bistork, he's struggling to deal with the corruptors. His faces are being zoned out completely. He's just making nothing but Phoenix, and he's just dying. He's just slowly dying right now, just using every single worker.
Educating the chat right now. This is why you don't go Mass Phoenix, and he's still making Phoenix.
Ay, ay, ay. It's like he's playing Brood War. Oh my god. I mean,
charge finish up for Bistork, so
unironically,
it's gonna help him against the Corruptors.
Unironically, charge is pretty good because there's just nothing but Lings on the ground. Like, there's no Baneling Nest either. So Zealots are gonna do okay. Problem is that Ultras are on the way, and once they pop out, like, oh god, Ultras they be chunky. They cannot be lifted.
They really are. They can't be lifted, and you know what? Ultralists are not typically what you want versus Protoss, except for very situational scenarios. This is that situation where you absolutely want Ultras to just come in, eviscerate the ground army, and then let your sky armies duke it out.
Oh yeah, exactly. As kind of everything is blinking red for Bistork right now. We got Lings in the 4th, we got Mutas here at the 3rd, the Stalkers are going down, the Phoenixes are still struggling to deal with the Corruptors. They want to like hit the heart of the juicy Mutas, but they just can't get there. The Corruptors are just so good at zoning them away, and Bistork is still making nothing but Phoenixes.
This is like straight up tank DPS. I mean, if the Queens are here, we have healers.
This is the equivalent of me and Micah going Ultras against Immortals.
How the tables turn. Now it's Bistork.
Shout out to me and Micah in the chat.
Lifting cargo ships, question mark, something. I imagine if he was just like pulling up cargo pants or something. GG's call, and GogojOey is going to move on to face Emil Micah in that upper bracket semis, or the upper bracket finals, sorry. The age-old matchup. GG. Still messy, which is what we love to see coming out from these two players. But man, game number 1 was definitely very close. Game number 2, there were points where Bistork could have overtaken the GogojOey over there, but it just got a little tunnel vision, it seems.
It's one of those things where it's not just that he was tunnel visioned, it's GogojOey kind of like had like a shiny like a keychain or something, and he was like dangling it over to the side, and Bistork just went for it, you know. he's like, look,
like a cat.
I have mutas, and he's like, Phoenixes.
I need to get the mutas.
that was all he was focusing on. He never got a chance. He was
waving a piece of bread.
Yeah. God.
You know you wanna.
And GogojOey was like almost in complete control of that entire game. GG. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, definitely looked a little bit shaky at the start there.
In game 1
showed how. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, even in game number 2, you know, Bistork showed how capable he can be with Stargate play. But
true. Once
GogojOey got a handle of how Bistork was going to be playing, he knew exactly how to counter that. And as you said, he just completely, I don't even want to call it mind gamed, but like distracted Bistork for long enough.
Yeah. And it worked out for him, and now, as you said, we are getting, it's that time of the week. It's time for Emil Micah versus GogojOey.